Yo, what's up? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 7th Street. Sorry, I've been a little bit busy lately, so I haven't done a new references film or top 5, even though I have a couple of ideas that I would really like to do. But I'm gearing up for Crypticon Seattle, which is this weekend, and I'm going to be screening Jesus, I Was Evil, our original feature film that we did about a year ago now. So I know that I need to do a video, so I thought that I would do one where I'm just taking a look around my new movie room. We'll just kind of like brief through things. I'm not going to take too much time talking about any individual titles or anything like that. Just give you an idea of what my movie room looks like. So let's do it.
Cool. All right, starting back here on the wall, I just have some different posters. These are my Romero posters. I just kind of keep them against the blank wall here, and moving over we got The Mummy, and just below that is one of my first cabinets. On top here, I have like my camera, battery, and stuff like that, but I've got some of my different books, just kind of the pretty ones that I wanted to have out. Some stuff for Danny as a Psycho, a web series that I was in, horror comedy web series that I starred in, and I have a bunch of those brochures, and of course the infamous severed dick in a jar that has made an appearance now in two of my feature films. I actually just got this signed by Mick Strawn because I worked with him on a Friday the 13th Vengeance. I play kind of, I guess, sort of a lead in that, sort of one of the lesser leads in Friday the 13th Vengeance. But he was the art director on Nightmare on Elm Street 3, as well as Candyman, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, things like that. But yeah, my different horror books, this Italian horror is really, really good. I actually like to reread it all the time. Yeah, not much there. A lot of my books from film school and stuff like that. I usually end up getting some stuff like that for Christmas. Down here is just kind of where I've been like putting some of my overflow things and some of my clamshells, like Death Stock from Video Gems with Vic Morrow in it. These old Warner cases that are just ugly. I don't really have any desire to have them out. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. This is actually a pretty good little film by Charles B. Pierce, who probably most people know from Boggy Creek 2 and The Legend Continues, which was a Mystery Science Theater movie. I Drink Your Blood. I've been meaning to do a references film on I Drink Your Blood. The Great Alligator. Just mentioned that in a film. Street Trash. Gosh, some of these like this I actually got at Crypticon a few years ago. So, yeah, I just kind of have some bullshit back here, nothing crazy. Kind of a lot of my cut boxes, right? Food of the Gods Part 2. That's also worth a references film. Empire of the Ants. Yeah, there's just kind of some shit back here. Nothing too exciting. Just some of my overflow clamshells and stuff. Oh, hey, shout out to Jim Wynorski. I know he's my friend. He's a great filmmaker. Actually, this may have been like one of the first Jim Wynorski films I ever saw. Was Cheerleader Massacre. And then moving down, kind of the same thing. I got my Leprechaun movies out on display right now. But, some of these are pretty good. I just, I have a lot of extra space in this little cabinet. I've just been putting certain things. The Wendigo. This is an underrated movie. That is also worth a reference in the film. It has been on my list for a long time. I have trouble writing the script for it. I don't necessarily know what I want to say about it. Yeah, this cabinet is not that interesting. But moving over, we do have my VHS shelf that I've done a video on before. You can probably go check that out. These are kind of all my pretty VHS tapes. As you can tell, I don't really put them in any sort of specific order. I mean, they make sense to me, you know? But they probably don't make a lot of sense to other people other than this one. You know, this is obviously my Universal Monsters VHS collection. And then up here I got my Wizard videos, my Wizard big boxes. Kind of have them on display like I'm running a fucking movie store or something. Monster Dog. See, that's the thing, man. People say that Troll 2 is the best worst movie, but it's not even like the worst Claudio Fragasso movie. I mean, Monster Dog is arguably worse. Got some of my other posters up there. Last House, Killer Clowns. This is an autograph from Mark Patton, who is the star of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. He's also in this musical, Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean. God, he's a really good actor, and he has a new documentary that's coming out called Scream Queen. That's kind of all about his career and, you know, kind of the hardships of dealing with being a gay actor in the 80s, and how, you know, that wasn't so cool, you know, for him. It made things hard. I really want to see it. Unfortunately, it's screening in Portland, Oregon, the exact same day that I will be in Seattle screening Jesus, I Was Evil. Here are some of my Friday the 13th. My favorite one in the series, man. I know it's not the best one, but it's still my favorite one, is Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. These are just, you know, some random movies that I got up here. My Carnosaur collection. This is like one of the first box sets I ever bought. And it's cool. I just really like to display it up on the shelf. Got some of my Hammer movies. The Abominable Snowman. Lost Continent. Reptile. The Midnight Hour. I need to give this movie another shot. I really didn't like it at the time. I got it because I didn't know really what it was about, or really what it was at all. But I'm a big Billy Idol fan. And I was like, what? Does this have something to do with that? I don't know why I thought that. Army of Darkness, Trilogy of Terror, Season of the Witch. Got my Romero clamshells right there. So moving on, you know, I got a lot of like my Godzilla stuff up here. The Resident Evil zombie. Got King Kong back there. Got Godzilla vs. Destroya. I think this is Space Godzilla. And Godzilla Rates Again. Also got my Biollante up there. Got a big box, pretty beat up big box of the Human Vapor and Humanoids from the Deep, which is unopened back there. Got this really cool dinosaur fossil. I got it for Christmas from my dad. And then a Lloyd Kaufman autograph to Josh, who's my best friend and producer, and just kind of kept it here in the collection up there. Yeah, I also got this yesterday, and I need to find a good spot for it. Thought that was pretty cool. I need to find a good spot. I've just kind of been setting it, you know, while I take some time. Oh, let me move that. You know, I already did this shelf. These are my Godzilla VHS tapes. I finally got the Holy Grail, so I have it very proudly displayed up on this shelf. And then, of course, my Toho science fiction DVDs down there. Moving over here, I got my little shrine to Elvira. It's a little dark over here, but I don't have a ton of them. You know, I'm not like, you know, obsessed with Elvira. If I see them out there in the wild, I will definitely pick them up. Got a shelf down here, kind of just starts with like some of my Universal horror films, you know, some of these like the classic sci-fis. These are really cool. The Land Unknown is like one of my favorites. Then, got some of these 4-packs. Got the Mummy Legacy Collection. The Mummy remake, which I actually quite like. I really like this movie. It's kind of one of my guilty pleasures. Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. I got the, I've showed this before. It's the Steel Book. Then, Ghost of Frankenstein and Son of Frankenstein. All great. I mean, this entire series right here is just absolutely fantastic. All 4 of these films are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant movies. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Then I got my little Boris Karloff collection. This is just from Mill Creek. So, I mean, there's nothing great on it, but The Man They Could Not Hang is a really good one. Lugosi collection. I love this. I absolutely adore Murders in the Rue Morgue. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. This is a great set to have. If you see it out there, definitely pick it up. It's got the Black Cat and the Raven. Then I got the Dracula Legacy collection, the old one. It's got Spanish Dracula on it, as well as Son of Dracula and Dracula's Daughter and all that shit. Return of the Vampire, that's a great one. I know it's not Universal, but I keep it over here. It feels like a Dracula sequel. So, I just keep it over here. Shadow of the Vampire, I know it's not a classic Universal film, but, it's it's kind of about Nosferatu, and it felt like it fit. It felt like it fit over here. Then we kind of transition a little bit. I kind of just keep these here because of the titles. Both Dracula versus Frankenstein's, different movies. This one by Al Adamson is actually really, really good, in my opinion. This one here with Michael Rennie in it is dreadful. It's like some Spanish horror film that it's just weird. It deals with it's like a science fiction film. It's got aliens and shit resurrecting monsters. It's weird. Creature from the Black Lagoon on Blu-ray. This is one of the better Blu-ray releases that I've gotten in a little while. I love some of the special features, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. It's already a good-looking film, like on DVD, but on Blu-ray, it blows me away. Man of a Thousand Faces, the 50s biopic on Lon Chaney. It's not like the most accurate movie, but not the most accurate biopic, but it's pretty entertaining all the same. Then we get some of my horror, Hammer horror collections here. The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, I actually really like. I argue sometimes that it's sometimes more entertaining, which I guess in a turn kind of makes it a better film than The Mummy, The Hammer's Mummy. I'm just saying, I think that Curse of the Mummy's Tomb is really really entertaining, really fun. This one, I mean, really the only reason I got it was for Revenge of Frankenstein. It's hard to get all the Hammer Frankensteins and the Hammer Draculas. I've got this 4-pack, and then I've got this 3-pack that includes one of the Frankenstein films. They're just all over the place, and I know that they've been a little bit better about releasing them on the Blu-ray recently. I just haven't really gotten around to getting them. Horror of Frankenstein is my favorite Hammer Frankenstein film. My favorite Hammer film. Can't say why. Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed is a close second. Then The Mummy, obviously, we took a look at that. Then we've got these Amicus films, The Creeping Flesh, and now The Screaming Starts, which is a good one, and then The Skull, which is fairly decent. Like I said, kind of keeping the theme around here, then we kind of transitioned back into kind of classic horror. I know it's kind of all over the place, but Hitchcock, and then I've got The Birds on Blu-ray. I do really like this pop art. Psycho, and then Psycho for the Beginning, which I think is an incredibly underrated movie. I think that this one's great. All the Psycho films, I think, are really well done. Curse of the Demon and Night of the Demon, which is like the UK release of it. Got some other Amicus films. I guess it should go over with the other ones. Then little Vincent Price kind of thing here with House on Haunted Hill, Shock, Tales of Terror, Pit and the Pendulum, and The Raven. This Del Tenney movie called Violent Midnight, which is it's not so good. It's funny, there is like this very stunning nude woman in it, and it's like early 60s film. I'm not used to seeing that in a black and white film. But it turns out back in those days, as long as it was like shown as art, and she's like being like someone's doing a nude portrait of her, so they can kind of linger on all these nude shots of her. It's like it's interesting. Jack the Giant Killer. That is a reference this film in a half. I have to do this film at some point. This is one of my all-time favorites as a child. Jack the Giant Killer is so good. And then recently they kind of remade it with Jack the Giant Slayer, and I didn't even bother watching it. There's no point. Couple Mexican horror films, Night of the Bloody Apes, Curse of the Doll People. Night of the Bloody Apes is an interesting one for sure. Got a lot of kind of I can't talk today. A lot of crude horror effects in it, which I rather like. Then I've got my two Ed Wood box sets. You know, Ed Wood is a hero of mine for sure. And honestly, this The Haunted World of Edward D. Wood Jr., this documentary that's on this box set, I think, you know what, I'm not even going to pull it out, is great. I think everybody should see this. I think it's the best Ed Wood documentary. And then, of course, I have the movie Ed Wood, the Tim Burton film, which is a great movie. Fiend Without a Face on Criterion. Killer Brain movie, can't go wrong with that. Then a couple Harryhausen things. Earth versus the Flying Saucer. It Came from Beneath the Sea. It Came from Outer Space. Things to Come. This is just kind of like some of my science fiction that I didn't really know what to do with. Kind of classic science fiction. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Monster, Go-Go. Forbidden Planet. Missile to the Moon is a really good one. This is a horrible DVD. Just one of the ugliest DVDs in my collection. But it's a really good movie. I like the rock monsters in it for sure. I got Critters 2. Mick Strawn, who I just worked with on Friday the 13th Vengeance, was one of the prop guys on this. Contamination, Things to Come remake. You know, just some interesting things here. You know, just kind of moving along. I got some of my TV stuff. The Sopranos, I think, is the greatest TV show ever made. Masters of Horror, that's a really good show. Night Gallery, Tales from the Dark Side. I've got my Monsters box set downstairs because I've been watching it. All the Tales from the Crypt movies, and then a Blu-ray of Masters of Horror, just because it had Jennifer on it, and I wanted that one on Blu-ray. Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, and Plan 9 from Outer Space. I don't know. I just put these here. Like I said, I kind of opened up some new shelving space recently. And then these are all my, like, non-horror films that I watch. You know, I have other non-horror films, obviously, but I don't really have them displayed. Treasure of the Sierra Madre, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I love that movie. Kids, Harmony Korine. That's a great movie. The Beast is one of my favorite war movies of all time, about a Soviet tank that gets lost in Afghanistan. Platoon, one of my favorite movies of all time. Miracle at St. Anna. I think I was like a junior or senior in high school when this came out, and when I saw it, it made me cry, so had to have it. Sid and Nancy, a big fan of old punk rock. Rumblefish is one of my favorite movies of all time. Angel Heart, yeah, Mickey Rourke is just a genius. And I got this live DVD of Billy Idol and Super Overdrive. Crumb, the documentary from David Lynch, on R. Crumb, who's just a really strange comic book artist. Lost in Translation, another movie that when I saw it for the first time made me cry. I love when movies can like evoke emotion out of you. So I got my little James Dean thing here, Rebel Without a Cause and Giant. I think his two movies that are worth seeing. Every Time We Say Goodbye is a really underrated Tom Hanks movie, early Tom Hanks movie, set in World War II. This movie's definitely underrated. Panic in Needle Park. This is a great movie. I have it next to Requiem for a Dream for a reason. These are kind of my two depressing heroine films. The Doors movie. Gotta love the Doors movie. The Room. What else are you gonna say about The Room? It's fucking Tommy Wiseau, man. Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. I loved this movie when I was a little kid. So, of course, I had to have it on DVD. The Buddy Holly story. Gary Busey, he's phenomenal. Cry Baby. Strange Ones is just a good old classic film. Crash. I actually like Crash. American Beauty, one of my favorite movies of all time. Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Terminator. Don't really know why it's down here. Same with The Jacket. Page Master. I loved this movie when I was a kid, man. Let's see. Hold on, sorry. Just kind of thought I felt something sticky down here. Just hoping, like, something didn't spill. Letters from Iwo Jima, Hell Ride, Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe. That is a great movie. Yeah, and then, just some other things, Love is a Many Splendorous Thing, shit like that. Over here, these are just some of the movies that I've made that are floating around out there. Just movies that I directed. Three Flies in a Widow's Web. You can find it through Kings of Horror. Some movies that I acted in. Cracking the Code. My Manos documentary, Bedtime Scaries, stuff like that. Next to my Martin Scorsese collection, I keep, Martin Scorsese and my movies next to each other. Like, why wouldn't you? And then that's kind of just that wall right there. And then coming over here, got my Lugosi poster. Also, this little frame, I got some stuff in it. Crab Monsters, The Crazies, Nightmare City, Demonia, or not Demonia, Demon. I guess it is in Italy. It is referred to as Demonia, huh? Yeah, and then that's the first feature film I ever starred in. So I just put it in there. Adults in the Room. Coming over here, actually, this is my Obachan. I'm a quarter Japanese, and when she passed away just 2 years ago, she left me with all of these DVDs that are recorded off Japanese television. You can tell that, obviously I don't watch them very often because I just moved in. I haven't even taken the tape off. I don't read kana, so I have no idea what these are. But I have found some cool samurai movies. I do keep, I found that Toho... Oh, shit, I only have one arm. Toho did a Chushingora adaptation film. And Destroy All Monsters was originally called Kaiju Chushingora, so I put that Toho movie with Destroy All Monsters. But like I said, man, this is just like drawers full of movies recorded off of like Japanese HBO, that kind of shit. I found some horror movies, I found some really, really cool things. These, this is just kind of a bullshit shelf back here. DVDs that I've recorded, some of my Grandpa Munster VHS tapes. Still trying to get settled in here. Up here, I got my Mars Attacks poster. It's super cool wolf head that my aunt got me. Mystery Science Theater poster with my demonic monkey. And then I've got the Dead series on VHS here. But Dawn of the Dead was signed by Galen Ross and Ken Foray. And then I have Martin over here that was signed by John Amplis. All at Crypticon Seattle. Then I got, just kind of a random shelf here. I have a lot of my William Castle stuff here. Into some of my 80s horror. Sorry about that glare. And then I've got my Killer Clown from Outer Space guarding this section. I got Grizzly and Dogs, like all of my Image releases here and stuff like that. No real rhyme or reason to it. Down here I just kind of put some of my cool Blu-rays, the ones that were kind of uniformed all together. The I Drink Your Blood box set, Creepshow, Amityville Horror, It's Alive, Donnie Darko, the Last House on the Left release, this awesome FYE Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the Bloodthirsty Collection, this Toho Japanese vampire trilogy, all of my Vestrons, my Arrow releases, and Vinegar Syndrome is going to be at Crypticon this year, so I'm super excited for all of that. Moving down, I've got, a lot of my, kind of Italian and Blue Underground stuff. Torso. Got my little Argento thing going on here. All my Three Mothers and Four Flies on Grey Velvet. It's not a ton of consistency over here, other than, here's my Bruno Mattei, Claudio Fragasso films, the Demon films. Then I've got from Cat in the Brain all the way to Don't Torture a Duckling are all my Fulci films. Then, of course, bookending all of this is Troll 2 and Best Worst Movie. I love Fragasso. I don't care what anybody says. These are all of my kind of just creature features, a random creature features. An old box set that I got a long time ago. Giant monsters, things like that. Critters, the Bog Creatures, and Creature from Black Lake. Then it's dogs, right? Werewolves, Ginger Snaps, The Breed, Devil Dog. And then it's Spiders, Curse of the Black Widow, Spiders 2, Horrors of Spider Island, Camel Spiders, Kingdom of the Spiders, Arachnid, and then The Fly 2. Then Slither, Caw, Black Sheep, then Snakes, right? Anaconda, Boa versus Python, Mega Python versus Gatoroid, which transitions into alligator crocodile movies, The Alligator People, Lake Placid, Rogue, and then it kind of transitions into sharks, Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus. Then I got Hammerhead and just random shit down here, ending with this little box set that's got Congo and King Kong remake on it. At the bottom down here, just all of my Mystery Science Theater 3000 DVDs and VHS tapes, complete with my autograph from Mary Jo Pehl, who's Pearl Forrester. It's pretty cool. I have so many VHS copies of Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie. So I had one, and Josh Dietrich had one, and then I found this one that was a screener that's not for sale VHS. So, I've got a zillion copies of that now. But Mystery Science Theater 3000 is incredibly important to you know, my development as a horror movie fan. But that's this shelf here. And then moving on, last but not least, just some random shit, you know. Movie Madness here in Portland, Oregon puts out like these like hard to find things. That's how I have Black Devil Doll from Hell and my Val Lewton movies. Some random stuff here is just like my Criterion collection. And then my Roger Corman collection with Bruce Lee. Of course, up here I got my Blu-ray for Ghost House. And Poultrygeist, which I have signed by Lloyd Kaufman. Then down here, got my zombie movies, complete with Zombie Bobblehead and Dawn of the Dead trading cards, or playing cards, I guess I should say. And then I got all my zombie movies down here. Complete with my Blue Underground Zombie Blu-ray with the lenticular cover. It's kind of one of my favorite things right now. Wild Zero. That's probably also worth a reference this film episode. Then down here I've got my midnight movies, which I'm always actively collecting. Sorry about that glare again, guys. And then I've got my alpha videos, which I used to buy a lot when I was really young because they were cheap. And anytime I see one, I pick them up, because why not? Then I've got some more contemporary stuff down here with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all the Friday the 13th, and Halloween, you know, Wolf Creek, stuff like that, Chucky. And then way down here at the bottom, I have some, you know, just like these 8 movie packs. Kind of a lot of stuff you find at Walmart, including all of my Wild Eye films, which I really rather like Wild Eye. I liked Wild Eye before they decided to release my new movie, Jesus, I Was Evil, which hopefully in the next like 6 months or so should be coming to DVD via Wild Eye Entertainment. And then of course down here I also have a couple of my Brain Damage releases, including Lake Noir, which I am in. I don't think I make the back there, but I am in this movie. I play one of the antagonists, one of the reasons for the haunted lake. And then this is another horror film I was in when I was really young, if this thing would focus. This release was called Reverie Isle, but you can find it now as Dead Man Island. You should be able to find it on Amazon Prime and places like that. So yeah. So hopefully this was not too terribly boring. You know, I kind of just decided to do this on a whim. But that is my movie room collection. Just kind of get an overview of what it looks like. And this is also the room where I shoot all of my Reference This Film episodes. So I got my green screen and stuff here. Got my 60D all set up and ready to go. Got a couple of different cameras and some different gear. Actually, for my birthday, because it was just my birthday on the 28th, I got this brand new 24mm prime lens, which is pretty cool. I was testing that out. Little pancake lens. So yeah, guys, I got some more reviews coming soon. Actually, I have gotten word that the great art director Mick Strawn wants to be in an episode of Reference This Film. So hopefully I'll get that going. Yeah, guys, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You know, I'm probably going to do a couple live videos from Crypticon Seattle, you know, kind of going through the con, and then also one before our feature film plays. So, stick around, guys. Until next time, if you want to see some more in-depth looks at, like, the movies in my collection or anything, or if you want me to just, like, go through and do this slower next time, I can definitely do that. But yeah, leave a comment, smash that like button, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're alerted every time I upload a new video, because the more you guys watch, the more excited I am to do these types of videos. So until next time, guys.